want to be at the college level this year after your experience in the NFL?
You know, being in college is an unbelievable thing because you get to work with young people and help them grow, especially from young adulthood to actual adults. Sorry about that, to adults. So that's obviously something that I started out in college, and personally myself grew a lot as a college student athlete. So for an opportunity to come back in the right program, it was for me Syracuse, and just the direction of what Fran brings and Coach Nixon and Coach Robinson. You know, I just think it's a recipe for success.
How's that relationship developed over the past, couple of weeks, and now that you're back in practice with those coaches who obviously loud personalities that we saw? Just how's that relationship for you to have the freedom to kind of be able to coach that room how you want to?
It's been great. I mean, they entrusted me with a lot. They had a lot of success last year. Coach Douglas did a great job with those guys last year, and I look at Fran and Coach Nixon and even Gaddis and all the guys. Those guys are mentors to me in certain regards, and so it's just been a really, really good experience, just top to bottom, working with these kids and trying to get them to be a little bit better than they were last year.
Did you talk to Ross at all about it? Because he sort of did the same thing. He had the NFL experience.
No, I absolutely did. When I took the job, he gave me a call and kind of gave me the ins and outs of the room and who I need to look out for and who I need to work with. And Ross is a great person. I wish him the most success at Oregon, but he did an outstanding job getting those guys to be good. And so the challenge is to get these guys who've already had success to grow a little bit better, and that's in the details. So that's what we're harping on.
You mentioned the right program in terms of coming here from the NFL. Why was this the right program?
I just believe in what Coach Fran is doing. I think he's number one in this business. You find a lot of guys who say the right things but don't necessarily mean those. And I think Coach Fran's not in that. He does not fall in that category. He's a guy that he's a no BS guy, as you guys know. He's gonna tell it to you straight. And when I was able to get on the phone with him and speak with him, I could tell that right away. And he's just super authentic. So you can see that carry down from player coach to assistant coaches and assistant coaches to the players. So, and that's why they've had success.
You mentioned that you like to work with young people. What is it that you're trying to teach them?
How to be how to be a better man, how to grow into adulthood, how to be a better father when that time comes, and then ultimately, if we get that part right, we'll be good football players because you understand the accountability piece. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Syracuse obviously being the right fit, but I want to know, from your time in the NFL, having that experience, what did it teach you that you were able to bring here now at the college level?
Well, it was an unbelievable time to work with the Packers and Matt and Adam Stenovich on the offensive side of the football. The great thing about the NFL is it's football on steroids. You don't have to recruit, you don't have to worry about anybody going to class. It's just all ball, So I learned a ton of football and then just learned how to conduct myself with coaching professional athletes, which is what the landscape of college football is now, So it's not what it was back in the day, and I think it suits well for me, just being able to work and double dip with NFL experience and collegiate experience.
The back in the day part, obviously, you said it's a different world now. NIL, certain pressures that these players have to deal with. How do you keep them focused?
It's hard. It's way harder than it was, obviously, but the driving point's always going to be if you take care of the football aspect, everything else will take care of itself. And that's the guidance that I like to give the kids is if you succeed on the football field, you succeed off the field as a person, everything will work itself out. Let's not put the carriage before the horse and try to, make all this money through NIL. That will come naturally. Let's just handle business, and that's always been the driving point.
Coach, how does it help the dynamic with a receiver? Now you know who your starting quarterback is, and they can work on their tendencies and their timing and things of that nature.
I think it helps tremendously. Obviously, they're going to have some opportunities to work from now until, week one, and build that continuity even more so, which they've done a great job now. But they'll get more reps, and the more reps you get, the better you're going to get over time. So I think it's good for everybody involved. I'm sure even more so for Ricky, just to have that confidence and know that everyone is behind him in the program. So I think it builds it the right way.
I jumped in a little late, so I apologize if somebody asked this.
It's good.
Your position and Ross Douglas both guys that came from the NFL? Was there a method to the madness there from Fran bringing in coaches with that
You'd have to
fresh
ask.
experience?
You'd have to ask Coach Fran on that, but I think with what we do offensively is it's pretty sophisticated for a collegiate offense, and I think especially at the receiver position. So I think a receiver coach with NFL experience is always going to help in that situation. And then ultimately, I think what Fran does a good job, a better job than anyone else is just hiring good people. I like to think I'm a good person, so I'm glad I was able to check that box for him.
How important have you noticed, like, precision being to this offense? Because I noticed you're on your receivers about you're supposed to be this distance at this time for the quarterback. How important has precision been to things?
It's really important, right? That's offensive football. Is just being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And so for our receivers, for us to make this quarterback, it's our job to make him look good, and that comes with precision and timing. So it's I'm gonna always harp on that, just being where we're supposed to be and doing it the right way.
What have you seen
Two for coach?
What have you seen from your guys so far this year?
Like I said before, Ross did an outstanding job with them the year prior. They're really good. The thing that I'm really happy about is they all want to get better. They're football guys. They love ball. They're really honed in on the process of getting better and not being results driven. They're process driven, and you see it day by day. They're getting so much better. Young guys are fighting through certain things to try to crack a lineup, and it's just been really impressive and cool to watch.
How's Tyshawn Russell, man?
Tyshawn's been great. That's my guy. It's always hard to work with a guy who's been in a program, had success at that program, and then jump to another program. Obviously, that's the framework of college football today, but he's been a great teammate. As you guys saw today, he's got a level of toughness about him that's going to allow him to be great. So we're excited about him.
Have you talked with Jackson Meeks at all about just going through the draft process and what's going to be expected of him and what it's going to take for him to make it at the next level?
Yeah, I absolutely have. And he embodies that personality where he just loves ball. So he's always around. You guys see him here every practice, man. He helps out as much as he can. But we spoke, and I am really excited for his process because I know the way he goes about his business on a day-to-day. I think he's bound for success at the NFL level. And that's what I told him, there's no job too big, no job too small. Just go ahead and just put one foot in front of the other. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, but I think he has the personality and the toughness to get through that, that wall in the NFL.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.